Hello, I'm Matthew McNee. This is the second presentation of 4 that I'm giving on the Falkland Islands, and it's about enabling digitalisation through OFE. There was some government support for a experiment at Shallow Harbour on a 40-hectare reseeded field. It's part of a 10,000-hectare grazing system. These reseeds have huge production implications for the nutrition of sheep, and especially so in a drying climate, which is threatening the viability of the engine room. We identified a farming problem, which is essentially that too many young sheep die after they're born, and so the farmer wants to address that. And then there is our agronomic problem identified, which is whether the ewes will actually select better pastures that have been limed in amongst all the underlying variation that exists. To do that, there is an implementation problem. How is the farmer going to observe changes in such a system where the sheep are on the reseed for a limited amount of time and then go out into the big fields or camp situation where they have their lambs? We physically can't observe the sheep well. It's too vast, too few labour units. The variations are too subtle to visualise in a lot of the fields. So your normal agronomic rules of thumb are usually quite impractical in this environment. So we had a method that we've used to consult with the farmer in the development of the experiment. We had some diverse perspectives at the table, and then iterative, flexible progression. So lots of back and forth in the discussion. A lot of it initially around building trust, and then those discussions were repeated because we all need time to think and reflect on what is most salient, and to go out there, back to the office, back to the field, wherever, to seek more information and sort out what our options are. Ensuring the farmer's ownership of the management of the experiment is essential in this environment, because it's the only way that it'll be feasible. So through our process, we were able to develop with the farmer a layout for the experiment on the reseed, which is effectively a cross fence comparison with a lime strip on one side and nothing on the other. And what happened was that through the process, we realised that the farmer had different measurement priorities to us. We were more looking towards measuring pasture, whereas he went straight to the condition of his ewes and their progeny. And he was also most interested in any change in grazing behaviour that would occur in relation to the lime strip. And so he saw livestock distribution as a potentially economically relevant trait in his system. Because of this, this was our entry point to introduce GPS livestock collars to assess grazing behaviour, or at least some aspects of it. When the farmer became more familiar with the abilities of livestock collars, he wanted the experiment to become larger. So we would also look at these animals when they leave the limed area and go out into their camps. And this also meant that the experiment would actually last for 3 years, and he was willing to manage that for that duration. Because we'd had success in introducing one digital technology, that made it much easier then to also suggest others. And we were able to also bring in drone to capture changes in vegetation. So in conclusion, the process led to a very different approach from the sort of research-led pasture improvement experiments of the past. And we introduced digital opportunities progressively, not prior with any preconceived ideas about what was needed. Thank you.